in
And good evening, everybody. This is Michael Filighera. I am with logicalsignals.com and also tradershelpingtraders.com. And this is the Elliott wave update for the S&P 500 for Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. The market continues to throw a little bit of a curveball, but not so severe that it's going to change the overall count or near-term expectations. With today's decline, just basically kind of pushing further than I would have expected it to, it did go down and make a new low below 12, which is where I had placed previously. I had placed the wave 4, the minute wave 4 there. Actually, I'd placed the minute wave 4 here, I believe it was at 12. And that just is not going to work anymore because it did come down and put in a new low, which was okay, but it's not done. And the structure changed kind of as we moved it up. And so instead of putting the 4 here and then making this a B wave and a regular B wave, another one, and then another C wave, it just is cleaner to allow for wave 3 to have ended, and the 5th wave was a diagonal, it was a triangle kind of going up. And so therefore it does allow for the overlap that we already have. So with that in mind, I've moved the minute wave 3 high, so its completion point, to the current all-time high at 4549.50. And off of that level is where we then began minute wave 4. So first thing that I want to do is put back the retracements. So if indeed we're in this wave 4, it looks pretty good. A, B, and now we're kind of coming off in a C wave. So let me take this down one notch to the hourly. We can start to see the internals here. So we get a 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, 3. I'm sure that's going to be wave 3 down here, a 4, and now we have a 5. So we're still looking for the S&P to kind of come down and figure out what it wants to do at 4,500. We have continued support for a larger 4th wave, which this may turn into, and that comes in at 4481. And that's where the 4th wave would be 0.382. The retracement would be a 38.2% retracement of this 3rd wave. And that still all fits beautifully and does not really upset the apple cart in terms of upside expectations. So by making the slight change, it keeps this 4th wave in action instead of being complete here. And actually, I had marked it complete here in a failure and then had counted this as an irregular B wave, and then we were going to do a C wave down. Now that still could be the case, but it just leaves it too awkward that it keeps doing these moves to new highs, and then settling all the way back down. And as it did here, instead of just, because it's so sloppy, it's so zigzaggy, it's not impulsive, it's more corrective in nature to me. But then when I take a step back and realize what we're completing up at these levels and the different degrees that we're completing up at these levels, it is going to be sloppy. It's going to be a battle to push to highs, because now the whole table starts to turn with, well, the tops are in, so now we're going to start positioning for the market to move lower versus, no, we're not done and we're going to push up higher. All these kind of forces are still going to be pushing and pulling at prices, and particularly in the NASDAQ. As you can see, the NASDAQ closed up 20, with the S&P down 17, now 16.75, and the Dow closing down almost 270 points. Varied reasons, you know, we went over some of them in yesterday's update with Rosh Hashanah, and then what happens to the markets between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So there's all kinds of things, but basically I'm just going to stick to nothing fundamental, nothing outside saying, well, this is what should be happening now, and just stick to the wave count and see this is what the market is indicating to me. And so that's why I'm going to move it, and I'm going to accept this completion of wave 3 at this level, 45, 49, 25. Look for the completion of the the minute fourth wave. Again, we played around the 200-day moving average. It went down below it. It came back and recovered it, and now it's sitting right on top of it. So if it continues to hold and we start to push higher again, then maybe this did complete this minute wave 4. That is a possibility. But I'm now going to continue to look for additional downside. If I drop this down to the 30, kind of becomes even a little bit more clear that this is a 3 and this is a 4, and then we're going to get this 5 down. Now, where can it possibly get to? Well, we know we have some support at 45.07. Then we have continued support at 4,500, just because it's the round number, but the basic 2.382 comes in at 44.81. But anything below today's low at 45.10, 75 completes the structure. Moves to or through support, as long as the structure is complete, it doesn't necessarily have to get down here. If the selling gets a little bit heavy, as it did today, or this wave 5 of C decides it's going to extend out, which I believe it looks like it is, then yes, we could have a stronger drop tomorrow. But even here, this looks pretty much like an A, a B, and a C, and then an A, a B, and a C, unless this stops and drops, and then it turns into a 5. So we may not get a whole lot more. We may, if this holds and we start to drop lower again, then we can measure wave 5 pretty much from some 27.75, and this low is 20.75. So we got $7 from wherever this finishes, brings us down to 4,500 if it's right here. If this finishes right here, and we don't get that much more of a pop once the markets reopen in Globex, then I would expect 4,500, because $7 from there is 45.10 actually, and that would put in the new low. So a little bit of an extension brings it down to 47.07, and that puts us right in line with that 0.238 support right there. So this all still looks good. I think we need a little bit more of a pullback, and then that should complete the fourth wave. And from there, we'll start to build in a rally phase. But let's not be fooled by an expectation. So in other words, it's like if we're looking for the market to drop down, then it's going to complete this thing. It has to really build into this next wave up. And so we're going to be looking for it to start it, a 5-wave structure up. And again, not so much on the hourly chart. It can be on my lower term charts, lower time frame charts, but I need to see 5 waves up. That signals probably the lows are in and now we're moving higher. And then a 3-wave pullback, and then another 5. That would be at a minimum of what I would expect off that low. So again, for tomorrow, I think we can get down here and get down to 45.07, at least below 10, right? That's the max or the minimum. I need to see it below 10. This has to form a 5 waves. Right now it's still 3. So we may get an A, this is a B, and we get a C wave up and then another wave down. So we got a lot of possibilities that we could go through. But I'm thinking that, well, this kind of looks like a little 4. Maybe we get up to 19 and then it turns lower, and then we should get down below here. And then we'll start to move into minute wave 5, which will then hopefully put us in range to complete the minor wave 5. So I'm going to go back out to that hourly chart. Now these are the retracements for a corrective move. Now I'm going to get rid of those. And we're going to now start to rebuild what we think can be going on here. So the first one that I want to put back on is that minor wave 5. So we're going to come back out to here, and we're going to open this up a little bit. And so we're going to go from wave 2 to wave 3 to wave 4, minor. Those are the minors, okay? And so we already know that our next shot is 100, that minor wave 5 would be equal to minor wave 3 right here at 45.71. And then we can go up from there. So that would be our first line in the sand. Now, I want to go out one more, and I'm going to put the intermediate wave 5. And that's going to go from this level all the way up to this level. I believe that is going to be the high. 84.50, yeah. And then down to this low. 24 there. Now we have this going to be on that size. 382 is 46.73, and then the other one came in right at 46. If you get 45.71. So our larger intermediate with wave 5 would be expected to get above 4,600. Okay. So those expectations remain. Those have not necessarily changed. Now, one more. And I'm going to estimate. I'm going to put in an estimate to where I think this little fourth wave can end. So once again, I'm going to put in for minute wave 5. And right now the low, I'm going to call it 1075. Let's just put it there so we can get a clean estimate of an existing low. Of course, it's coming in too low. I'll leave it at 950. We're looking for a new low below it. We'll leave it right there. These are just estimates because I would have to refine my levels a little bit more. So once we're done with this wave 4, what can we expect? We're looking for new highs. We're looking for this start to build, to get itself above the moving averages and go. Now, it really shouldn't spend a lot of time walking around below the 45.49.50, which is the existing high so far. So 236, 45.51. If it gets up there in 5 waves, that could be it. But then we have 45.71, which is the minor wave 5, 100%. 382 of this one is 45.77, and then we go up from there. 45.98, then we get a little bit of a cluster right here. 1.236, which would be minor wave 5 as it relates to minor 3. And then we have 0.618, which is minute wave 5 as it relates to its third wave. And that's 46.18 to 46.23. Then we have 34. Then we have 48. And then we have 56. So you see how the clusters continue to form. No matter where this ends, I am still thinking that we have an extended rally to push us up to these highs. And then we need to complete all of the sequences. That I still believe is out there to do. Whether this thing mulls around for another week until Yom Kippur or not. I don't think it will, but hey, stranger things, right? So for tomorrow, if we really start to see some intensive selling like we did today, then yes, that 44.81 number, which sits right below this one, is where I would expect it to go. It's going to break below that 10. It's going to break below the 45.01 numbers that we had initially and head down to that 44.81 area. But still, once it's complete, I'm looking for the rally to come back online and to push up to new highs, no matter what. But tomorrow we may see some additional selling. If it continues to break down, the no break zone still down here, 4,414. That's where it sits. And that's how far this market can drop before all the highs are in and we're heading lower, in my opinion. So hopefully, the volumes did pick up today, but those to be expected when, we have the selling that we had. Things will go down quicker than they go up, I say. In any case, I'm going to look for continued downside. I think support should be able to contain it. And then I'm going to look for the next rally, and that should begin to take us up above the existing high and then to new highs. And that's it for today. Next update is Wednesday, September 8th.